ANC caucus in Johannesburg is outraged over the number of Johannesburg police officers suspended with full pay. It's described the suspensions as reckless and unwarranted, saying it's costing the city over 1.2 million rand per month. The council is now calling for the suspension of JMPD Chief David Dembe, the ANC I should say. It's calling for an investigation into allegations of misconduct by Dembe and claims that he falsified his qualifications. For more on this, I'm joined by the Chief of the Johannesburg Metropolitan Police Department, David Dembe. Mr. Dembe, good evening. Thanks very much for your time. Perhaps before we get to the broader issues, let me ask you very specific. I'd like you to give me very specific answers to very direct questions that your detractors have been asking over the past couple of days. The first one is that they say there are over 40 suspensions.
Yes.
Is that the number? More or less?
That's not true.
How many?
It's not 40.
Are involved?
At the moment, it's 25.
It's 25.
And I'll classify how did it come to 25.
What have they done?
I can break it down for you. The majority of them is corruption.
And what do we mean exactly by that? What sort of things?
Corruption in terms of escorting a member of the public to the ATM and extort money for about 200, 300. Stopping a taxi and getting about 10 rand. Some of them, I think I've got 2. Some of them, it's attempted murder or attempted murder. Sexual harassment amongst them, fraud, and mostly it's corruption. And why the
number, you have evidence against them?
Yes. Most of them, they're busy at the hearing.
Mm-hmm. Now, the ANC in its statement today says the majority of these suspensions are beyond 3 months, which they say is in contravention of the disciplinary code.
No, it's not. That's not true. Because if you say it's beyond 3 months, I've got a director who is in charge of internal affairs. Internal affairs means that all the misconduct, when a member of the public complains about the Metro Police, that director is in charge of. They do the investigation, they bring it to me, and then I sit with my colleagues, and then the decision is taken whether to suspend that particular person or not. But then there are some other issues whereby if a person takes the money from a member of the public, where do you put him? One is he's a policeman. A policeman is a guardian of the community. Now you look at the trust relationship between ourselves. You will remember that 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, Johannesburg Metro Police were known about taking cold drink. We are fighting against that. But some of them are sexual harassment, attempted rape. I've got all this. Attempted hijacking or hijackings of particular vehicles. So all this, before, I don't know how they dealt with it. But where I come from, you can't have a policeman who commit such heinous crime. And our code of conduct states very clear. There are those that you can say, I can transfer you and put you at the radio room. But how do you transfer a person for sexual harassment? 3 times. When I came in, I started last year, there were a lot of sexual harassment, but they couldn't be dealt with. And I said, I can't allow that to happen.
These were senior officers harassing some of their own colleagues.
At the moment, I've got senior officers harassing juniors. And the case, I think it will be completed maybe in 2 weeks' time. Then the decision is with the presiding officer.
Now, I don't think a lot of people will argue with you if indeed what you're doing is to act against the wrongdoers in all the categories that you have mentioned. Now, just to clarify a few things, because they then connect to other things or allegations. Yes. What does your DC code say about does it say that you can only act within such and such a period of the offense happening? What does your own code say?
Yes, it says, let me take for an example the present one. Let's take about this 13 one. What happened is if there's an allegation of misconduct and it's brought to my attention, then we have to have a look. It's brought to my attention by the Director of Internal Affairs. And then we have to have a look at it, and then his recommendation will be he must be suspended because of 1, 2, 3 from the Director of Internal Affairs. And then I'll look at it, and I'll communicate with HR corporate, HR for the city, or the labor relations, and they will give me an advice. And then I will give him a letter, if ever we come to look at being suspended. We'll give him a letter which is intention to suspend. You are not suspending him. Tell me why you shouldn't be suspended. And then after 3 days or 48 hours, and then he'll come and say, I don't think, Chief, you will suspend me because I was doing 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I look at his presentation, and then from there, take a decision.
As far
after
as you are concerned,
days.
you haven't breached any internal DC code or law in any of the cases that you are pursuing?
Yes. Let's look at what everybody is talking about right now. No 13 superintendent, no 12 plus 1 manager have been suspended. What they've got is an intention to suspend.
They must explain themselves.
Yes, they must explain why I shouldn't. And at the moment, I'm communicating with labor relations, I'm communicating with legal, I'm communicating with
So
HR.
the ANC is wrong in saying the suspensions are already costing the city over 1.2 million rands per month.
No, they're wrong.
Because these people are working.
It's a thumbs up.
They're not sitting at home.
But I can understand why I should answer for ANC. I can answer ANC. I'm not a politician.
I'm saying, this is an allegation that they've put out there.
Yes.
And you don't have to answer to the ANC,
Yes.
but you can speak to the allegation
Yes.
itself. So you are saying here tonight that there is not a single one of the 13 you are talking about that have actually been suspended. You've
Yes.
only said to them, give us reasons why we should not suspend you.
Within 48 hours. I've given them, they've been issued with those letters on Monday. The reason why they shouldn't be. But all along, I just hear that people have been suspended. No one has been suspended.
Now, what then, because the other charge is that you are pursuing these people because they dared to point to your own misdemeanors. It is said that you are pursuing these people because they gave information or testified against you in your own disciplinary hearing.
I've never been charged. I was a director of JMPD since 2003, and I've never, in a single day, appeared in a disciplinary hearing. Either do I know now, if ever there's any. I've never appeared anywhere in any disciplinary hearing.
Has the Office of the Speaker ever come to you to say there are these allegations? Because from one document I saw, there were people who actually wrote to the Office of the Speaker saying you have to be investigated. Has the Office of the Speaker ever communicated something like that with you?
I meet with Councillor Dagama nearly every day. Nothing has been brought to my attention.
Mm-hmm. And the allegation that you don't even have matric?
How can I be in this position? I was interviewed. Those ones, I think they can go and ask for the city, if ever I've got matric or not. Because if I say myself, they'll say that he's lying again.
But you have matric?
Yes.
So what's going to happen now with the various cases that you are pursuing? Maybe I should ask this question differently. Do you not think that perhaps you should step aside and allow other people to take the process forward so that you're not then accused of victimizing these people?
Yeah, I think that is for the city to decide. It's not me.
But do you not think that perhaps that's the right thing to do just so that you are not seen to be pursuing this because these people have made all these allegations against you?
There's something behind all this. There's a hidden, I can put it this way. I've been a cop for quite some time, and I know how to do my investigation, and I know how to communicate in a legal way. The issue that is being raised has got nothing to do with what they're saying right now. That's a hidden hand. And I'm not going to allow that to be used by some of the people who think they can come and do as they please. So I won't.
Okay. That's where we're going to leave.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
Thank you
for coming through. JMPD Chief David Dembe.